Switch off my international noise-making machine.
Ah, that's what that was. The old noise-making machine.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
All right, welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast prepared to excel at the presidential fitness test by backing up our presidential trunt and asking indignantly,
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
It is 9:13 p.m. Central Standard Time, a twist, Friday, May 8th, 2569 era of the Buddha. The voice speaking now is the voice of Joshua. How am I not myself? Novin Mutashio, and as always, coming to us live from.
I had perfect health, and they reported his health is perfect.
California is Tim Big Love Buechner. There's a question mark in my voice because I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. What's up, Tim?
Should be Big Lav. It's short
Lav.
for lavatory, like the bathroom. It's kind of a inside joke from a stupid thing from 10 years ago. But I am always glad to be back on the only podcast that's willing to say that chili is a soup. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm doing well. They said I have a perfect health. I gave perfect health. My health is perfect.
That's important to hear.
I suppose we should kick off this episode by discussing what I guess we would have discussed on last week's episode, which we did not do.
Which would
is
be
that we met up in the real world for a real life podcast recording.
Yeah.
Yes, I had
We went to
brief...
go see the Doughboys, and they said, I want your money!
I want your money, fuck you. The official motto of Doughboys Headgum Studios podcast.
Yes. And we were excited because we thought maybe, just maybe, when we bought the tickets, we weren't sure who the guests were going to be, but we had heard an inkling that the guests might have been.
C.K. Louis, the comedian.
But it was not, unfortunately.
That's really too bad. No, we had to settle with John Graberis, my favorite guest of the Doughboys, maybe period, but definitely for their back catalog of live shows. I've enjoyed him. So that was nice.
And meanwhile, what I have to say about John Graberis,
He's a sleazebag.
So we were a little kind of disjointed on that one. I was hoping maybe, they were in Los Angeles. Maybe they could get a big-time guest. They could have
Tassan Parker.
But they did not. They just had John Graberis and his podcast co-host. What's the guy's name? Ben something?
I think it's Ben Rogers of Action Boys Podcast Concern.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the live podcast was pretty fun. I'll say that.
I mean,
Had a
to
good
be
time.
Doughboys, like, we could really just say, I liked the podcast. It was good.
Yeah,
5
episode.
forks.
Yeah. I liked
The
when
end.
they talked
The
about
joy of a turkey panini.
that's a big part of the show. Always enjoy that.
Yes, Doughboys. The Doughboys show. The burger was
Yeah.
good. The podcast was fun. It was all a bit of a daze and a haze. My visit to Los Angeles, but it was a fun one, I'll say. And I was there for like 3 days basically, and day 1 and day 3 I basically spent walking on foot, on foot, not on wheels.
God, what is it? There's like a ambulating, I guess.
I was ambulating. I was somnambulating. That's sleepwalking for nerds.
Yes.
No, it was kind of funny to me that I was like traversing what are actually relatively small chunks of Los Angeles, but over like several hours on foot, walking on foot, as they say, in like maybe one of the most unwalkable cities.
Right.
I told a few people that I walked from the airport, and they looked at me like I was insane. Sort of understandably, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had never tried, I think we talked about it, I've never tried to walk away from LAX, but I did try to do it in Florida, and it seems like impossible. So I was kind of like, oh.
So, anyway, where was I? Brief journey into the land of angels in the outfield. Walking the unwalkable city. Hanging out IRL.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting
That was cool.
getting the chauffeur treatment.
Shafar. Claudia
Chauffeur.
Yeah.
Just thinking of the come down thing about just my name's Chauffeur. So yeah, that was, I guess that's basically all she wrote about
Right.
visiting LA. Still in America though, as I mentioned, Central Time, Midwest Time. We're on Midwest Time here.
Nice.
But what else has been happening besides visiting LA? I feel like we should shout out or notice the happening of May 1st. It's one of those good holidays.
Yeah.
May Day, it's a good one because most Americans don't notice that it exists.
Yeah, it's always the best holidays.
We have a fake Labor Day, as I like to call it. Instead, whenever that is. When is American Labor Day? I can never remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. Don't care. I guess I want to say fake Labor Day is this Sunday, right? Mother's Day. We pretend like mom's doing it. Give them a bunch of credit just so they'll shut up. Yeah. Stop complaining, you dumb bitch. Anyways.
Having some technical issues again. All I could hear was dumb bitch. Sorry. I assume you're calling mothers dumb bitches in that garbled moment. Okay.
Yes. Because you said fake Labor Day. I said fake Labor Day is Sunday, Mother's Day, because we pretend like they do anything so that they'll shut up and stop complaining. Like, oh, moms are so important. We have a whole day to celebrate them. They don't do shit. They just complain.
They don't literally go into what we call labor when they cross the threshold into motherhood.
Right.
Speaking of that, there were some people taking notice in Los Angeles. Previously mentioned Los Angeles. Thousands rally to protest immigration sweeps / high cost of living. That was nice. Out here in Chicago way, people flooded the streets a bit for similar reasons. Yeah, here few bits and pieces here and there, making things not completely lost and futile. Maybe it's nice to see some people trying anything, including laborers like Chick-fil-A employee accused of stealing 80 grand with mac and cheese scheme, says New York Post.
The true mac and cheese of the Chick-fil-A.
First sentence of this article, starting off with a heater. That's one way to cook the books.
Hell yes. That's right. That's money in the bank, baby.
And then they
every goddamn day.
Restate the thesis. A former Chick-fil-A employee was arrested for stealing $80,000 with a mac and cheese scheme at a Texas restaurant, police say. This is classic high-quality clickbait we're looking at here, because, I mean, we're interested in so many aspects just from the title alone, obviously. The bait, which has been clicked. But what's that scheme? I mean, essentially...
I'm kind of wondering about that. What is that? What's the mechanics of this scheme?
Let's get into it. Jones was taken into custody on April 17th after allegedly ringing up 800 orders of mac and cheese, according to the outlet. Investigators began investigating the fromage fraud after the restaurant reported hundreds of phony refunds. I think I always confuse the word fromage and frottage together. Some would say they're very different things. One is
yeah,
rubbing your cock on your homie's inner thighs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is gay, or cheese, as people call it. Security camera footage shows Jones behind the counter carrying out the bogus transactions, prosecutors say. An arrest warrant was issued on April 6th. Wait, hang on. Didn't they say he was taken into custody April 17th? This doesn't add up. Oh, wait. That would add up, actually. Never mind. I thought I was really breaking some news on this breaking news. He was finally brought in by the Texas Attorney General's, of course this was in Texas, Fugitive Task Force and the Fort Worth Police Department. Jones faces charges of property theft, money laundering, and evading arrest. He faces up to 10 years in state prison if convicted, where he'll also be able to order mac and cheese, according to the menus on the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That's how this article ends. Nonsensical sentence. According to the menus on the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. They've got menus on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, all I could think of when I was reading this in-depth article was all of the way worse people getting away with crimes that are way worse. And how that doesn't strike me as fair when you really think about it.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, but it was someone talking. Was it Tim Pool? Maybe it was someone else, but talking about Hassan Parker and mentioning social murder or whatever and being like that's a thing. Oh, he just references it as if it's real, but it's just some concept or blah, blah, this and that. And it's like, it's as real as anything. And it's way worse than whatever the fuck this guy was doing. Because that's the other thing about this article. You say it's sparse. It's like they really don't get into the details of, how this works, to be honest.
Yeah.
They just say he rang up 800 orders of mac and cheese and then refunded them to his personal credit card. But it's like, what? They don't mention how he charges them to begin with.
I imagine that the gumshoes over at the New York Post probably thought that the photo of the defendant was enough. It explained it all away.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. He has a backwards hat on. So
yeah.
You know that he's got a tech vest on, so you know he's doing some kind of very, sophisticated tech bro style financial crimes. That's the point. You're not going to be able to understand it. He's too clever.
He was in, I don't know why, just the backwards hat immediately made me think of him in crisscross cosplay to fully signal his racial allegiances, as the New York Post might call it.
Yeah.
He's black. He's a black guy, folks. That's good enough for the Post. I don't know. I thought so.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I closed it.
I thought for a second maybe he was Indian, but no, he's black. Good for him, Congratulations, real ass dude of the week, Keyshawn Jones. This is okay. So this is at Chick-fil-A. Did you hear the interview with RZA saying Chipotle?
Was that the Adam Friedland interview?
It might have been. It might have been somewhere else. Actually, I think it was on like Bill Maher, and he kept saying Chipotle.
Is he like promoting a book or something? Is that why he's making the rounds these days?
I have no idea. I have no idea what he's up to. But yeah, on the interview, he kept saying Chipotle, Chipotle. And I thought he was talking about Chick-fil-A and just saying it really fucking weird.
Maybe he's talking about Chipotle.
He was talking about Chipotle. But in the beginning, I thought he was talking about Chick-fil-A. Because, Chipotle. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Oh, RZA. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Representative Lauren Boebert weighs in on government release of UFA files. And there's a video here, and she looks really different. I don't know. She didn't resign from office, right? She's still
in it. I had some shit about her pulled up that I didn't put on the notes, but her and two other Congress broads are doing something recently.
Yeah, Congress people. Anyways, I guess because she has her hair kind of back, so her whole forehead is showing, and she's not wearing her glasses. But and her hair looks darker. Anyways, she just looks. I was like, did she leave office and get a bunch of work done? But I don't think so. Anyway, this has been our Lauren Boebert moment of the week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna track that thing down. There was something about her, and now I'm curious actually. Fucking
no one cares.
Oh, it was Nancy Mace and her and still someone else threatening Trump. Team Trump fears a Nancy Mace governorship.
That's
because true. Mace, Boebert, and Oluna, the lady who's going to do the seances with the Warren Commission, JFK people. Yeah. There's a New York Times article with the three of them. Yeah, she does look different. I see what you're talking about. She just got, I don't know, her face did with the makeups and whatnot.
Like I said, it's just because her whole forehead is showing and she's not wearing glasses. It's different.
The sexiest trio to never do it. But in positive news, as I'll call it, or positive / but at what cost news, aka China, AI cost cutting not a legal excuse to fire workers, Chinese court says. I agree. And also it's just you see these things that probably you wouldn't even think twice about in a more sane society, I guess. But living in the American one as it slowly crumbles or whatever is happening. Again, just comparing this to the reality of the U.S. government, I compare them to this 20-year-old guy stealing a few $1,000s from Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, as I call it.
Chipotle.
Yeah, just comparing a ruling like this to the exact opposite situation, which would be that the U.S. government keeps trying, although I don't think they've successfully passed it yet. I'm not sure. I haven't kept up with it, but remember they were trying to get that Genius bill or the Genius Act, whatever
that
was.
So long ago. I can't even imagine what happened to that at this point.
I think it still never quite got through, but there was a piece of some large legislation around the same time as the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, the Big Beautiful Bill, the Build Back Better bill, are all kind of the same thing. Yeah, there was something in that was essentially for the next 10 years, there will be no regulations upon AI. Full stop.
Right. And outlawing states passing their own regulations on AI.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I don't believe it's passed, but it's something that we'll say has not been given up on yet. Meanwhile, in China, they're actually seeming to, as they, do robotics way better than us and replace some jobs with them. Well, I mean, I guess it would be not really replacing those jobs. And they base this on a real a real situation where a 35-year-old worker whose job was to oversee AI-generated responses at a fintech firm was fired after refusing a demotion and pay cut. The company told him his role could be replaced by AI. However, in intermediate people's court, a judge ruled that, quote, "We don't believe AI technology has reached the point where it can substantially replace human workers," and they compelled this company, this fintech company, to pay this guy's lost wages, and I'm not sure if they reinstated his employment. I think they did, yes. So that's good. I like that. That's a good trend. Let's keep it trending, folks.
Yeah, let's pay it forward. Is that the... No, wait.
I mean, that would involve having to admit that China did something good and that we will model ourselves after it.
Right, which we obviously should, but I guess not. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. It's so hard to keep up anymore. Is China still... I assume China's still bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely missed everything you just said, man. I couldn't hear anything. It's just it's not even garbled. It's just going completely silent for a chunk of time. But I don't know.
No clue what's going on.
I don't know what to chalk that up to.
Yeah. It's very odd.
Well, maybe if we talk about the new pandemic rising on the streets, just when you were starting to feel all cozy and positive thinking about China and its AI employment policies, your mind drifts towards what new Oriental diseases will be unleashed upon the world, and I guess this one would not be coming from the Orient, as we always call it.
Generally.
No, what is the story with these? Generally speaking,
Chinese people look Chinese.
With this Hanta virus. You've been hearing about this? You're in the healthcare sector.
I just heard a little bit about it, I was like, oh, okay, sounds fun. Sounds cool. Everyone's excited.
Blame Argentina. That's right, Argentina.
Yeah.
I think
Which is, again,
perhaps
they called it the China
zero
of South America. That's what I always call it, at least. Argentina, obviously, famously, their president, Chico de Pelo, doing a great job down there. And giving the world hantavirus. Good job, guys.
I lay this at your feet, President ANCAP. Mr. ANCAP. What was his superhero alter ego?
Yeah. Fuck.
Was it really called Captain ANCAP?
It might be something that stupid. General ANCAP.
Is it?
More like General Can Fap, because he just has to jerk off thinking about his dead dog and sister or whatever. Or his sister that is his dog. What's the deal with him? I forget. I always forget.
He's cloned his sister to be 12 different dogs, and he makes
fucks.
Sweet mouth love to them. You know what's really weird about the technical problems is that when you cut out, it comes back with your voice going 2 times speed until it catches back up.
Yeah. I've had that happen to me before with you. The other way around. I've had that happen. It's very weird. It's I can't understand what would make the internet / Zoom or computer do that. You know what I mean? You would think it just has a binary nature of being on or off.
Yeah.
But that it would not have I've got to catch back up thing.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Got to get that one on the board.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
It's weird.
Yeah, I can't quite understand what the fuck is going on, if I'm being perfectly honest. But
fucking shit.
I also don't know if it's on my end or if it's on yours, to be honest, as well. So, who knows?
Yeah. Who can say? Not me. It could be a computer virus, in fact, or
it could be
a virus.
Yeah. Or a crime?
A crime, a real virus. Yeah, so there's this cruise. We've talked about cruises before on the podcast. It's timely.
Yeah, we've talked about Cruising, the famous Robert De Niro movie, film?
That'd be one Albert Pacino.
Albert Pacini. Yes, that's
Albert Pachinko.
Yes. I call him Big Al. You know, he's Eskimo Brothers with Bill Maher, the aforementioned Bill Maher.
They're both into black chicks.
Black hookers. Not chicks, prostitutes.
Specifically.
But Bill Maher's current girlfriend who, hey guys, you know, finally at the sprightly young age of like 70, he's got a little bit of puppy love. I don't know if you've been following this, but he's literally he's like doing like the promise ring / going steady thing that you would do like in middle school.
Wait, which one, Mar or Pachinko?
Mar, because Mar is famously like, I'm always going to be single. I wouldn't waste pot on a wedding. Is one of his favorite quotes. He's obsessed with her, and the lady that he's like finally ready to settle down with is the lady who just had like the 100-year-old vampiric child with Al Pacino.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Eskimo Brothers. Where does that come from? Who knows? We'll never know.
2 poles, 1 hole. It's about like ice fishing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ice fishing brothers. To make it politically correct. To go back to Mar for a second.
I would never waste pot on watching a movie.
That's right.
Preach, Bill. Preach.
That's right. You tell those whores.
So this hantavirus.
I'm gonna haunt you virus?
If it, that's a good
I'm gonna haunt you. I'm gonna haunt you in your dreams.
That's right.
Were this to actually become a pandemic, it would be very, very frightening because you'd have, I don't know, 30 times more of a chance of dying from it than from COVID. Something like that. I believe it's a 35% chance of dying if you contract it. And so far, 3 people from this cruising, there we go, that's how we got here. That's how we got there.
That's right.
Have died. And the real problem of it all is that I don't know who's running this boat here, but they just like let about 40 people like off of the boat after like someone had died. I'm not sure if they had even like confirmed what was really even going on. So maybe it was just one of those things that can't be helped. But I'm always quick to jump towards like no, something evil made this happen, or some like absurd, I don't know, incompetence is at hand. But I can't even really piece that together from the events in this article that I'm looking at. But I don't know. Just let's all bow our heads in prayer, because I don't have any better ideas other than just hoping for the best on this one.
Yeah, we're just keeping our fingers crossed. You know, they let 17, or I guess they let quite a few people that were on the cruise out of the boat onto American soil. You know, good for them. You know, hopefully they tested them and made sure everything was good. It was very funny because one of my coworkers was like reading off of the stuff that was like, oh, you know, all of the precautions that this cruise supposedly did, because it was like, this was not your average. This is not just, you know, a regular type cruise for fat entitled whites or whatever. This was about people who were very, you know, interested in seeing wildlife. It's like it sounded like an intentional, like an RFK style cruise of intentionally trying to like awaken new zoological diseases that we thought were extinct. Basically, like we're going into the deepest untouched areas and people are just fucking wandering around checking, fucking grooving on stuff, man. But they wear plastic booties, you know, so to make sure that they don't bring anything back. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is the kind of thing that we absolutely do not need to be doing, and it's why, like, man's hubris knows no bounds. Like you said, we just had fucking COVID, you know, I guess we just had COVID 5 years ago, and we have cruises that are like, let's all go try to find the craziest fucking wild bat creature that we can eat.
Yeah, I mean, it would be sort of fitting if whatever kind of luxury style cruise it is ended up, I don't know, kicking out one of the pillars holding human civilization up. I know I'd have a good chuckle at all that irony and whatnot. But yeah, this disease also like exists and has, it kills like a few dozen people every year in down South America way, I think it tends to be localized in. But
Right.
It has been spread now to
Right.
Singapore and Switzerland and South Africa and Argentina. And yeah, they think the source was Argentina. And I don't know. They're trying to like trace everything and hunt it down and, stop it in its tracks. Good luck. Godspeed, brave scientists.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think about like looking at this and thinking of the possibility of a horribly deadly disease breaking out and spreading around the globe. Is that one Donald Trump might feel a sense of relief at like some greater catastrophe overtaking the globe to like kind of take the sting out of all the other unrest going on in the world. You can't be mad at me anymore. Look at this. I had nothing to do with this one. Then it turns out it's just like the sign falls off the side of the ship and it just says like Trump cruises or whatever. It's like, turns out he did have a hand in it directly, of course. Leave it to old Donnie Wriggles out of everything to get us into this one.
Right.
But before even getting to the present old, I suppose, I was kind of interested in this rant from Jordan of Knowledge Fight podcast, which now apparently is no more.
Oh yeah, I was going to open up the show by saying that we're the new Knowledge Fight, and we're the only podcast that reviews the Tim Heidecker InfoWars. And we're the only ones who are allowed to talk about it, because that was kind of the thing about the Knowledge Fight. Like, for everything about those guys that like, was bad, which I totally agree with. And like the toxic nature of their relationship with each other. It was like, at least they were always on the same page about being so fucking like self-centered that they were willing to be like, no one else should be able to do this. That was like their number one take all the time. No one else should ever talk about Alex Jones. It's just bad, and they're not going to do it right, so it's actually dangerous. We're the only ones who can handle. They're like they were acting like anything that had to do with Alex Jones was like toxic waste, and they are the only people who are suited to handle it. So like this entire thing with fucking like the Onion taking the whole thing over was from the beginning gonna like cause a big issue for them. That was the main edict that they still could agree on, because you could just kind of tell that they were very, I don't know if contemptuous with each other was the right word, but they just were very like had a tough relationship with each other, like for the past however many years.
Well, I couldn't quite figure out what I haven't actually listened. I should say, maybe for listeners who don't know, Knowledge Fight is a podcast that explores in depth the man called Alex Jones. Knowledge Fight, InfoWars, get it?
Yeah,
it's a very good
clever
podcast. I'm a fan in general. I just haven't listened to it for probably the last several years for no particular reason. Sometimes it would get a little samey, I guess.
Yeah.
There's also just like so much of it to listen to. When I got into it, I was still catching up on like years past. But anyway, I couldn't figure out what, even from listening to this rant from I guess you could call him the sort of secondary member of the podcast. Like, he wasn't there from the very beginning, right?
No, he was.
He was? Okay. That's the
Yeah,
reason
it was always
remember
both of them.
I remembered it at one point just being, what's his name? Dan?
Yeah.
But I must have misremembered that. Anyway, they've been doing it for a long time, and now I guess the podcast is kaput, and it's because Jordan is furious about what The Onion and Tim Heidecker are doing with InfoWars. And like, as I was listening to the rant, I was kind of like, maybe he's probably right about this and that. I mean, the part that was most interesting to me, I guess, was that his like, he was so sure that The Onion is like not going to really be able to make money off of this other than their merch sales, and then saying like basically that their promise to give, I believe I just assumed that they were going to give all the proceeds that they made using the InfoWars like name to the Sandy Hook families. But what Jordan of Knowledge Fight was speculating about, as if he knew it for sure to be true, was that no money will end up going to the families, and that this thing will probably just collapse on itself. And he kept fixating on the fact that like all The Onion really purchased was an empty building, which is, I guess, the InfoWars building. Right,
but his point was that they didn't purchase it, that they're leasing it, and they're just paying the lease to the owners of the building that would theoretically be being paid by Alex if, he still had ownership or whatever. So that it's this idea that theoretically that's money that could be going to the families instead of, but it's like, he's taking a lot of leaps, and I get what you're saying about the idea that like some of it is definitely logical, but it's also like, I guess some of the background to the whole thing is that he did this rant. He also deleted it, like, pretty quickly afterwards when he realized how insane everything was, because it was. And then like a day or days later, the guy, Tim Onion, came out and like explained everything more in depth and gave the actual figures and numbers. So a lot of the stuff that Jordan was like speculating about here was disproven within like a day by like facts, but yeah, like the whole thing is just like, he's just taking leaps, and I get what you're saying. That's like, it seems reasonable, but it's like he's making assumptions and treating them as fact.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That almost sounds like, shit. There's a guy who does that constantly. Alex Jones. Yeah, it sounds like he was basically just doing the same thing that Alex Jones does, while he spent, a decade making his bones off of acting like Alex is this terrible, evil charlatan. It's this thing. You can always point out that kind of hypocrisy, whatever. But he thinks he's good. I liked the thing that stood out. Like, it stood out to me, but then I saw the fucking people on like the Reddit talking about it. Is like him being like, "I'm a black woman now." It was fucking amazing. Like, what are you? God damn it, dude! You can't be doing this. You can't be this lib. Like, I didn't realize that they made libs like this still, but then it was like, oh yeah, then I just saw ContraPoints on Bad Faith. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess this kind of white lady lib is still fucking in full swing. Yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. The whole thing is just ridiculous. And like, I guess the idea of why the podcast is ending is like a combination of stuff, right? Which is that like InfoWars as it will no longer exist, so they really don't have something to talk about, number one. And then number two, like, they did like a 30-minute, State of the Union, why we're leaving, why the left us or whatever thing. And it was like, Dan said, like, we just fundamentally disagree on this, and it feels like it's too hard for us to continue on. And I almost am kind of like, I feel a little bit like that's a bit of a cop-out. Because I think that if it wasn't just completely unhinged, and that he wasn't already, like, relatively probably they're annoyed with each other and have been for a while, they would have just papered over it and made it work still, because this is, like, their main source of income for both guys. But I think that he was just absolutely like, this guy is a fucking liability. He's a loose cannon. He'll just go off spouting fucking nonsensical bullshit in a out of nowhere tirade while he's all fucking hopped up on like whatever, being fucking bipolar or whatever the fuck is wrong with him. You know what I mean? And he's just kind of like, I'm done dealing with this, and I'll just like try to figure something else out if I can pivot and like just be myself, just me by myself, and not have him with me. Even if I can only like get like 25% of these people to come with me, it's like, okay, I can drop half of the cost just by not having this guy, and I can like take a little bit of a haircut on everything else and figure something else out. We'll see, But yeah, it was just, the whole thing is very funny. But this is like the way that I described it. And as you said, I haven't listened to the Knowledge Fight regularly in like years, but even like when I did, and then like still pop in every now and then, I could just, the contempt that I would have towards like a podcast co-host who like fucking every couple of minutes while I'm just trying to like get through stuff that I have to go like, all right, mic down for this. Because Dan would have to do that constantly. Just be like, all right, mic down for this. I'm going to play this clip. I'm going to read this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And I need you to just shut the fuck up and not shout over me constantly, because that's what you do constantly. And I couldn't imagine like that I would like really love doing a podcast with someone that I had to treat that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, that was, it did the speed up thing to just like give me like 30 seconds
Wonderful.
of silence back in 10 seconds. But I think I got mostly what you were saying. Yeah, I was going to say that it does seem like a cop-out to be like, well, there's no Alex anymore, because even within the rant, he said multiple times, like, you think this is going to make Alex finally go away? Like, they think this is the thing. This is the final thing that's going to finally make Alex go away. Like, he's never going away, like, which I agree with. Like, he's going to survive in some form or another.
Right. Well, that's why it's like the argument is their Knowledge Fight and InfoWars won't exist anymore. Like, Alex could still be around, but InfoWars won't be around.
I mean, they were mostly a study of Alex Jones. Alex Jones is... I mean, this is another thing he said in the rant. Alex is it. He is the thing. Like, InfoWars doesn't matter. Like, it's the personality or whatever, the public personality of Alex Jones that's going to, like, carry on, I'm sure.
Right. Which, like, yeah, that was a thing that he made that I think was, like, a solid point, which is the idea that, like, just doing this thing and calling it InfoWars will just remind people of Alex Jones. Right? But also, like, that's only, like, now, like, if you stick to it and you do it long enough, like, eventually it can become something else. Like, there's nothing in this world that's like that, firmly established that it can't be changed, if we're being perfectly honest, right? Like, Wendy's, right? Wendy's hamburgers. You used to think of Wendy's, you'd think of Dave Thomas, but he's been dead and gone for so long, like, you don't really think about Dave Thomas when you think about Wendy's anymore, right? For the most part.
Sure.
Yeah. So I know that's like a weird comparison, but you get my point, right? Like, things can change. Like, the idea that, like, you can't do this because everyone will always think of Alex Jones when they think of InfoWars. It's like, yeah, for a while, but eventually, like, if you continue to do it and you're just like, this is InfoWars now, and you just keep doing it, eventually people will kind of, like, forget, and they'll, like, move on.
Yeah, I think you said that, like, the facts were brought to light by Tim Onion or whoever. Yeah, that was kind of like my only thing that I latched onto that where I like really agreed with him, which is like, well, if they just like don't end up paying out any money, that does feel like kind of bullshit that they would sort of hype everybody up with that promise, because that was kind of central to the whole thing. Because I think most people know that, like, this isn't going to be the end of Alex Jones. It's just kind of like a fun fuck you, twist the knife, kick him while he's down kind of thing. Of like, look at what we're doing to your your IP, your precious words, your precious portmanteau of information and war.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of war, I guess, or really to take us back a second. Another thing that Jordan was doing, just like one Alex Jones, was...
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's vagina right now.
That's right. Oh, what's this? Is this a little lost scrap of news? What goes there? Who goes there? I'm seeing a little birdie has told me breaking news. Trump's third failed assassination attempt happened, and everyone's already forgot. And it's been like, what, less than 2 weeks since that?
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks exactly, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Not even.
Actually,
Not even.
Because I'm trying to think, because I don't know if it happened when we were together.
It didn't.
It
happened. It happened It happened not last Saturday, but the Saturday before last.
Yeah. So
25th of April.
Am I trying to think? I guess technically that would be like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but yeah.
And
that's so good.
It doesn't even feel like it happened, really, though. Like it's so. I almost feel like the main takeaway from this assassination attempt, which I'm putting in like scare quotes here, that it's just had no real purchase on the minds of the public.
Right.
Like no one cares. No one's talking about it except for us. And like, we're only talking about it because we got to play catch up with the fucking news we missed last week. I mean, but I don't know where to even start with this. I mean, this either feels like a lot of things feel these days, like how much of this is stupidity and how much of this is evil. Like, who can really like figure out the proportionality of that? But I'll say there were a handful of, I mean, I just jotted down the ones I could remember off the top of my head, but just kind of weird coincidences and happenings and non-happenings. I mean, listed here, the first one, Trump not moving. So there's like a long period of Trump just kind of like glowering, sitting at the front table on the dais.
Yeah.
Not being dragged away by security. Like it was like almost everyone was gone but him. He's just sitting there alone on the stage for a period of time.
Right.
Which was very odd, considering he's supposed to be the number one guy. And then they did like kind of forcibly drag him away and he fell like a dumbass. But like, of course, like in an interview later, which I want to play a piece of, he describes like heroically like walking off the stage with no fear in his heart. Which, like, to be fair, he did look not afraid at all, which is just like another thing to log in the false flag column, I guess you could call it.
Well, it's pretty easy to not be afraid when you're like so old and demented that you have no clue what's going on.
I mean, fair, also true, but like a lot of people didn't react appropriately, including Trump. I mean, what were the most glaring weirdnesses in my mind were Trump not being moved quicker, like JD getting dragged out of there, like, I don't know, a good long minute or two before Trump was finally moved out of the way. But then like the first thing that really threw me off was like this, the press conference, like in the immediate aftermath of the whole thing. I think they're still in the same building. And like Trump is just like leading the press conference, but like everybody's there, like Hegseth, Patel, all the heavy hitters. They're all like lined up in a row at this, what was supposedly just an attempt on, I don't know, all of their lives.
Right.
Presumably Trump's.
The idea that they're all there is like because of the event, right? So
yes, but like you'd think there would be some kind of protocol of like keeping everyone like, I don't know, in some safe area, like not exposed. But
sure.
It felt like, I don't know, and I could be like misremembering, but it's like you get the sense that it wasn't that long after. Maybe just because they're all still wearing their tuxedos and shit, like during this press conference. But just like they're all just like laughing and like smiling, and like there's no sense of like, wow, our lives were just out there for the taking.
Right.
Whew, that was a close one. Like none of that even. Like people were pointing out like the footage of like Hegseth just like cackling, like as like people were still like running around, or all.
He was, he's drunk, so he doesn't know what's going on.
Well, he was apparently drunk and high on cocaine, is the speculation.
Oh, he was drunk and stoned.
You didn't see that footage of him, like, with his whole face, like, writhing?
I actually don't know if I saw it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I saw it. It looks pretty fucking funny. He's just, like, jawing like a madman as he's, like, trying to look serious, sort of, during all the hubbub. But then, on the other hand, it's like, we've seen so much insane incompetence. I guess, like, security... I mean, like they did say that, like, without explanation also, that, like, security protocols were lowered for some non-given reason, basically. And then there's, like, the security video of, like, the angle where you can see the guy, like, running through the metal detector. One weird thing is just the fact that, like, no one could stop this guy very quickly.
Right.
And the person who was shooting at him was, like, right next to him and just somehow managed to miss 6 shots. I mean, that could be explained again by, like, incompetence, you know, maybe just, like, training going out the window, like, in the heat of the moment. But then, like, did you see, like, people, like, looking into the background of that video where, like, so, like, the door, the side door or whatever that you see the guy come charging out of, right before he comes charging out of there, one of the security guards is, like, walking around with a dog, and he just stops at that door, and it almost looks like he's talking to someone. If he's not talking, he's, like, clearly, like, assessing a person in that door. And then the second this cop walks away, this guy comes flying out of the door with a shotgun.
Yeah, it all seems fishy, but, you know, this is a little bit of baking, you know what I mean? This is a little bit of, like, you know, when you look at anything, like, close enough, you can find, like, weird little like, life is just kind of like that, where weird stuff can happen, you know?
Yeah.
But I totally get what you mean. It does, like, there is a certain point where you kind of look at stuff and you kind of just go, something about that doesn't seem right, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I haven't, like, done much, like, deep digging on this. Like I said, I kept forgetting that it even happened just in the 2 weeks since it happened.
Well, the only important thing to remember from this is that obviously, they need the ballroom. It's the most important thing that could stop this is if they had the ballroom.
Right. That was another, like, fishy thing as well, though, was that, like, all of those MAGA influencers came out all with their, like, talking points about the ballroom, like, within, like, minutes of this going down.
Right.
It was very quick, and there was other things about, like...
I mean, I would, you know, you can chalk that up to, like, what's that saying? Like, don't let a good tragedy go to waste or whatever. Like, I get what you mean, but it's just like Trump and the Trump admin is so craven that they, like, instantly go into spin mode, even if something was real. They're like, how can we use this, you know?
Yeah. It's just like maybe this coupled with my, like, sort of newfound trutherism about the first attempt on his life, which I hadn't really considered much until recently. But yeah, just, like, the attitudes, and I don't know, like, but it ultimately, I guess, I mean, it should matter. But, like, even if it was just, like, proven beyond all, like, a shadow of a doubt that Trump concocted the whole thing, like, it would still kind of, like, be one of the less urgent things to deal with, I guess, that's happening
right
in Trump land at the moment. I don't know. There were a few weird things about it, but, like, it was mainly, I got the sense, I kept getting the sense of, like, just desperation in the administration, and, like, on the part of, it could be anybody. I guess, like, I think Kash Patel is probably the number one suspect, honestly, because of the hilarious mention in the weirdly timed confession email that that the shooter, named Cole something, by the way, shout out Cole, in their manifesto, they specifically point out that they're not going after Kash Patel.
Yeah.
And he's been on thin ice, what with all the talk about him being drunk all the time and being shitty at his job. I could see him maybe trying to pull something off like this. Also, the fact that like the FBI is where you can find a lot of instances of people being like groomed into doing mass shootings, and then we stop them at the last second to say, "Hey, look, we foiled another terrorist plot." Something we've seen a lot in the days of the war on terror and beyond. So I wouldn't put that past the FBI either to just do that, but instead of with like a schizophrenic Muslim guy, they're just doing it with like some extremely normie liberal guy, is what I've gathered. Is this dude's whole thing? He's a radical centrist of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he represents the Maddow set.
Yeah, he's a ContraPoints style assassin.
So what, like dressing up in like various like theater kid outfits and then doing shootings. That's ContraPoints whole deal, right? Outfits and politricks. Welcome to ContraPoints. One way you can gauge that the nation is not really thinking about this assassination attempt on our poor president. You can find in a few headlines that came out post-assassination attempt. Got one here. U.S. reinstates gun show loophole amid rollback of firearms restrictions. Timing on that in relation to the assassination attempt would be 5 days later.
Oh, good.
Also, Amtrak may ease rules on guns on its trains, despite revelations after correspondence dinner, sources say.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good that they're like, yeah, like Amtrak being like, hey, you know what? Like, this shooter made a big deal in his manifesto about how easy and, great it was, smooth it was for him to take our trains, cross country with all of these weapons. Maybe we'd lean into that. Maybe that's our thing, because these shootings aren't going to stop, right? So, and the shooters need a way to travel around the country to do assassination attempts. Like Amtrak, we're not checking. Like that's their motto, like Amtrak. Just you got to get there. What's it to us? That's our motto.
We're not checking what's it to us. These are all new official mottos of Amtrak.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're leaning into it. They're like, we're gonna, you know what? We were pretty laxed about it. We let this guy come across with like mini knives and guns. We're gonna like loosen it a little bit more. Get kind of freaky on there,
And then another sign that the U.S. is still kind of running away from its decisions, at least regarding Trump. We got this infographic of sorts, says it all, on CNN. Americans who support or believe in ghosts, 39%. Believe in telepathy, 29%. Believe in the new White House ballroom, 28%. And that's the guy on CNN. I forget his name. He always does the like rapid fire like polling stuff. He's he's the one who helps give us sound bites like
Donald Trump is underwater with men.
With men. That's right.
Yeah.
He's splashing around down there, and what is he doing? I don't know, but maybe the shooter was trying to find out.
I saw someone's comment on this Americans who believe in ghosts being 11% higher than Americans who believe in the new White House ballroom, saying that like Trump just needs to tell people that the White House ballroom is haunted and we need to clear it out with our minds.
Need to smudge that bitch.
So then you get the telepathy and the ghost people in one fell swoop.
Yeah, get them on, get them in there. Get them into it,
And then one of the funniest things, let's listen to the man. We do bad impressions of him. Let's let him speak for himself for once.
That's right.
Trump responds to what he hears about the shooter's manifesto in an interview he did on 60 Minutes. And let's just take it in.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and
these
I was
are
never,
the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in...
I almost want to keep playing it, but anyway.
It's so much fun. But where do you come down on Plategate? Because that was a big talking point out of that.
Other side of the plate.
The other side of the plate. That's a phrase that, I haven't heard that a ton. Is that weird enough that, you take umbrage with it?
It stood out to me as weird. I'll put it that way. It made me think that's not a real saying. I know
that's
what
not a thing that people say. What was he? What was going on? What caused it? Is it just?
He's trying to say.
He was going to say other side of the aisle, but then he realized that she's not a politician.
Or other side of the fence, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was just thinking about the White House correspondent's dinner, so he was still thinking about plates.
Oh, he was thinking about food and plates. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're disgraceful.
Yeah. Finish the interview. Shout out, Boomer. No, Boomer Death Squad. They did an episode they talked about this interview a bit, and I really did love how much they got obsessed with him being like, "You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. You're terrible people." All right, let's finish the interview.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's what. Yeah,
I think there's like a minute left in this. I almost just want to play it because I can't even remember what is said after this, but I remember it's probably pretty funny. Let's just.
The other thing in the manifesto that I think is worth looking at in terms of determining his motive is he had been staying at the hotel since Friday. He checked in. He said he had cased the place, and he wrote, "What the hell is the Secret Service doing?" And he wrote this quote, I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing. He wrote, like, this level of incompetence is insane. Sir, you have already had two attempted...
Well, he was pretty incompetent, too, because he got caught. And he got caught pretty easily.
Yes.
So he was pretty incompetent, too. I could take any event having to do with security or anything else. I can always find fault. Those guys did a good job last night. They did a really good job.
I mentioned that because, again, as his motive, and you brought this up, he had social media accounts that had anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric.
Why don't you read all the anti-Trump? Why don't you read it? You just did, so why don't you read it?
What?
Well, he had...
Huh? Hang on a second.
What?
I think this man's brains are curdling under there. Yeah, why don't you just read it? You just did, so why don't you? That's basically...
You just read it. Why don't you read it? Why don't you read all the anti-Trump? You did, so do it.
That's what it all began with, him reading... Oh, wait, the funniest part about this... Oh, wait, hang on. Did she already say, oh, you think he's talking about you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was looking for that part, but she already said it. Yeah, the whole thing about, like, I cannot allow a pedophile. It's like, oh, you think he's referring to you?
Oh, you thought that was about you? I hadn't thought about that.
Like, whoever this interviewer is, she's kind of doing a good job there, actually, and just, like, feigning ignorance to
no, that was perfect.
Turn the tables on him a bit, and he's being such a piece of shit to her, so it's kind of Nice to
You're
see
a
her
disgrace.
spin it around a little bit.
No. You're a disgrace. Let's finish the interview.
And also, yeah, like, I guess it should go without saying, but I guess it's funnier to just say it. She's just reading a quote from another person, and he's taking it as if like she's insulting him to his face directly. Because
I knew you would read that. It's like, yeah, of course she would. It's the manifesto from the attempted assassin that we're here to talk about.
Which clearly lays out the motivations.
Yeah. Why would she not mention that? And like,
because it's very hurtful. It's very hurtful when you say these things to me, It's
not as if she's like putting this in like, like framing it in a positive light. Like, if anything, she's, the context discredits the point already, inherently. To be like, well, this guy who attempted to assassinate the president, he was obviously he was very clear of mind and intelligent and smart. So, we're going to read his manifesto and be like, we should take this seriously because it's coming from a very good source. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to be like up in arms quoting him as if that's an endorsement. You're talking about a guy who was insane enough to attempt to just like brute force run into the fucking White House Correspondents' Dinner to assassinate the president. Like, it's not an endorsement to be like, this is a really smart thinker who's definitely knows what he's talking about, but he's instantly like, I cannot believe you would, present this as like a legitimate take to have or whatever. Like, he's kind of telling on himself that he is a rapist pedophile by being so upset about being called a rapist pedophile by an insane person. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty easy to just be like, oh, that guy's crazy. It's that thing. It's like, when a crazy, some crazy bitch says that like you nutted inside of her and she's like, put it on folk. Put that on folk. That you didn't nut inside me. I don't know if you saw that meme, but there's a video going. Anyways, it's like, it's pretty easy to just be like, yeah, I didn't nut inside of you. I didn't. If you didn't do it, you just instantly say that. You don't like flip. You don't fucking flip out and be like, I cannot believe you would even accuse me of this. Just say no.
Yeah, I mean, him just denying the way that he denies it in every, like, his body language, his tone of voice. I mean, I don't think there's any way he could say those words without it coming across as fishy, we'll say. But yeah, I mean, it's just another one for the history books right there is what I was thinking when I first heard this clip.
Yeah, but just like the assassination, you're gonna forget about it in like a week. Like,
right.
That's the tough part about the Trump thing is like, yeah, the bad stuff disappears, you forget about it within a week, but also the good stuff you forget about. He really does flood the zone with too much content to remember it.
It's true. I was thinking it would be like akin to like how we all remember like Clinton saying it depends on what the definition of is. Like, it would be like on that level maybe of memorability, but probably also not, because like you said, flooding the zone. And
Bill Clinton, you're definitely talking about flooding the zone. You know what I'm saying? He should have said, depends on what the definition of jizz is, right? We're talking about that blue dress.
That would have been more like it.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, it was another assassination attempt on President Trunch, and moving on to never speak of this again.
Yeah, never speak of President Trunch again.
This one was a little older, but it does play into the idea of Trump adamantly not being a pedophile. Yes, Trump smears Epstein victims after Melania's demand. Again, something we've all long forgotten about when Melania Trump came out apropos of nothing to remind us, to let us know for the first time that she has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah, this was pretty good.
that guy that I can't believe we're still talking about.
The financier.
Yes.
She says, I run my own Schwab account. I don't interact with Jeffrey.
Donald Trump has casually dismissed Jeffrey Epstein's victims as he spoke out about his wife's mysterious bid to distance herself from the convicted sex trafficker. Hey, look, Daily Beast isn't calling him a disgraced financier. They're using the hard stuff.
That's wrong. None of that was proven. He didn't get to see his day in court to be. I mean, yes, a long time ago.
The
he
first
was
one,
convicted.
yes,
yeah,
yes.
But the last, and it's all, everyone knows it's like the last one counts, right? It's like a math class. It's like you can fail the first semester, but if you pass the last semester, you pass the whole thing. It's a cumulative thing, so it's still up in the air.
Whichever one was furthest away from Donald Trump finally breaking ties with the man, that's the real one we should be focusing on.
That's true. And the most important part, which is that Melania never met him and doesn't know who he is, even though there's multiple, pieces of photographic evidence and also correspondence that differ. She never met him. She doesn't know the guy. And she doesn't like the guy, even though she doesn't know who he is.
Melania all out here like...
I don't like the guy.
Jeffrey Epstein. The president, what did he say? He was speaking at the White House, being asked why your wife do that. And he said, I understand that the women didn't want to go under oath. That's what I heard, he said. That the women, the victims or whatever, they refused to go under oath, which is a little surprising.
God damn it. The victims or whatever, man.
Yeah. He's out here using whatever like he's some kind of irony podcaster or something.
Right.
Or whatever.
He's on the @whatever podcast because he's talking about a bunch of thoughts. He's shaming a bunch of Instagram and /OnlyFans thoughts. And he's saying, they won't even go under oath to talk about their body counts with my man. I can't even. I was going to try to remember the guy's name from that fucking podcast, but I can't.
I don't think we did figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
it's Barry Bonds.
The host of the Whatever podcast has a very funny, by which I mean very unfunny /funny YouTube channel of like prank videos and such. Anyway, look that up, folks.
Yeah. Brian Atlas? Is that his name?
I think that is it. That sounds right.
God, that name sucks.
With your host, Brian Atlas, and the President of the United States.
Anyways.
Searching Brian Atlas, the first thing that comes up is r/podcasts, a post from 3 months ago entitled, What do you think of the Whatever podcast? No question mark. And without even clicking on it, the first response I can see, it says, it seems sort of repetitive, using the same formula of feminist girls and of OnlyFans models that have extreme views and paint a negative view of society. Also, top answer, isn't that the one where the host couldn't open a jar of pickles or something? That was the big one. That was the most recent viral moment of the Whatever.
But unfortunately,
podcast.
It was not the host. It was
not
our man from the Crucible. What's his name? Michael Rappaport?
Michael Rappaport. No, I forget that guy's name too. That guy was on the Joseph Rogan podcast recently.
Was
and
he?
He said,
Daddies are more stronger than mommies.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. And then his wife had to come on the Joe Rogan podcast the week after and explain why he had pooped in his diaper during the thing. I remember that.
Yeah, she said, this is why my
adult baby
did not poop his adult diaper.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's like, it's kind of funny. He's absolutely cucked by his his crazy ass wife. I think I saw like some interview with her. It's like, she's like a fucking just massive fucking domineering, crazy ass butch bitch. And it's very funny that his whole vibe is like, I'm the man of the house, but he's actually like clearly being like fucking led along by her. She's one of those, she rules the roost types, It's very funny.
I saw something briefly with her as well. Yeah, it was. I mean, she's in on the grift, obviously, as well. But yeah, there was something where she was saying like, "It's true. He doesn't do any house chores. It's true. He just smokes his cigarettes, and I bring him his stuff.
He's allowed to
his ring light and his webcam." And his pack of Marlboro Reds, because he's a real Marlboro man, my husband.
He's allowed to eat whatever he wants at any time of night. He can make mac and cheese after 11 p.m., and I don't say anything.
So yeah, victims or whatever is what Trump called his own victims / Epstein's victims. He was all caught up in that whole thing. He was fully exonerated, as we all know, fully exonerated. That's why 1% of the files have been released or whatever. That really has kind of gone away. Right. It has, but it hasn't. I mean, it's definitely left my mind in a way. So, I mean, I was reminded of it, though, when a little red meat got dropped for the conspiracy nuts to pour over.
Sure.
Possible Epstein suicide note is sealed in a New York courthouse, report says.
Huh. That doesn't seem good.
I think it all kind of amounted to nothing, I believe. It sounded really juicy at first, and then I believe it all kind of amounted to nothing. But it was a note that his, roommate, cellmate, Tartaglione.
And then you have to hit the mob music like on TrueAnon. Remember that when they talk about it all the time?
Tartaglione, mob music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a note that he claimed he found in the cell right before Epstein killed himself. It almost seemed like a distraction from the distraction of the distraction in a way, the timing on that one, because it came out right after. It's like the intuited story of the whole thing seems to be like false flag to take attention off of Iran / Epstein. It's just like one thing is like a distraction from the other, but then we come full circle and back to like, now we're using Epstein stuff to distract from the false flag stuff and the Iran stuff. It's just rearranging deck chairs, as they say, on the Zone Flutter, the SS Zone Flutter Titanic. Also, on that note, the Epstein note, Republicans appear split on the idea of clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell. A House panel of Republicans was surveyed about this. Yeah, at least half of them seem to be at least open to the idea of letting convicted, disgraced financier's assistant, Ghislaine Maxwell, out of prison.
CIA daughter.
This one was pretty funny. Meme-made flesh. Ooh. There was the meme of Trump giving himself like what is this fucking medal? Freedom, Medal of Honor. There was a meme of Trump giving himself that medal, but now he wants to make that meme a reality. How does this go? What did he have to say? Yes, Donald Trump, 5-time draft dodger, has plotted how to bestow upon himself the U.S. military's highest honor while scrambling over a war he started. Hilarious timing. Leave it to the funniest man in show business to do it.
Did you... this might have came out right when we were starting recording or a little bit before, but the crazy gold statue thing.
Was it the gold statue down at one of his golf courses or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And everyone making references to they did this on The Boys, one of the evil the evil fucking dictatorial leader guy did this, and then the golden calf, this is so on the nose. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, golden, golden calf, a false idol. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that here in the headlines.
Pretty good. So yeah, he's trying to make all of the memes come true, even the ones from the Bible. He's trying to make the Bible memes come true.
He's trying to make the Bible memes come true, and the AI slop meme that he posted of what Gaza is going to look like when he's done with it, which involves a golden statue of himself as well.
Nice.
Yeah, leave it to the Daily Beast to get the headlines nailed down here. Trump, 79, fooled into deranged brag about his gold statue. Yes, a 20... Come on. Daily Beast staff, you know what you're doing here with this sub headline. It's also listed under topic Fool's Gold. That kind of red all caps stamped font under it. Fool's Gold. The 22-foot erection has been installed at the president's Doral Golf Club in Florida. Yes, it looks like it looks like him doing the fight pose, but he's just there by himself. I fought all by myself. That's our president. I'm not desperate, you're desperate.
That's right.
Did you see the presidential fitness test is coming back in style?
Oh, I did not.
Oh, really?
Wait. I saw the thing with the kids. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was really all about, was Trump ranting to a group of children around the Oval Office desk about trans athletes. I believe he said to a young boy who said he wanted to do, I don't know, wrestling or something. You're never going to wrestle any women. No, you're not. Not with me. Not with me here. And he just starts talking about the war. I mean, that was the most fucked up part that I saw, at least, was him talking about Iran killed 42,000 people in 2 days, folks. Shoot him right between the eyes. But at one point, he even says, parents, don't let your kids listen to this. He's already started into it.
To children. Yeah.
But I think the thing he said don't listen to was when he talked about they're forcing kids to be trans now or whatever.
Right.
That was the part he was
it's illegal
cover their ears.
They don't want to talk about that, you know?
I was reminded that Linda McMahon is still in charge of what still exists, apparently, technically, which is the Department of Education, because she was there. Saying as soon as she started talking, Trump just started going to sleep immediately too, which is pretty hilarious. Because she was talking about, she was bullshitting about concepts like teaching nice things like fairness and whatnot, even though the whole point of bringing this thing back was just to be fuck you, Obama, basically, because it got phased out, I guess, during the Obama years for the idea of
He said, I think fatties should be allowed to be fat, and it's normal and it's healthy at any size. I'm Obama, and I've got to have that extra fluffy fupa.
Yeah.
Obama
did say all that.
That's true.
So Trump had to do something about it, which was to make fitness tests great again, or whatever.
Yeah, and also mortify children. That was also a big part of what he had to do.
Right.
It's pretty good because he just recently did a swing and a miss, a very similar swing and a miss with the DoorDash granny. When he was hanging out with the DoorDash granny, and he was yeah, it's very important that you do DoorDash because of your husband having cancer, right? Yeah. And then also, you don't think that men should be doing sports against women? And she's like, I don't know about any of that. I am not interested in whatever that... Yeah, that was pretty good. He did it to the kids, too. He's, obsessed with... Donald Trump is basically Jesse Signal of the president. He won't shut the fuck up about trans people. He's obsessed.
It is really one of his go-tos when he loses the plot. He just starts saying, and they've got men playing women's sports. Unlike Biden, who would just start either, babbling or talking about how his dad sure could drive a car type stuff. Trump just goes straight to the, can you believe men and women's sports, when his brain starts losing the plot. And yeah, even before that, he talked to those kids at the Easter egg roll about inappropriate shit as well pretty recently. Wasn't that? Yeah. He was like, Biden he only used the auto pen. Unlike me, I'm going to give you a real signature. Yeah. You could sell this thing for $25,000. But of course, Trump did agree with Obama about at least one thing, which was that
gotta have them ribs and pussy too.
That's right.
Grab them both. Gotta grab them all. Mm-hmm. Trump also said some interesting things about the high seas recently, where he, you know what? Let's listen to that one too.
Might as well.
It's about what America really be like. What do we be like, Mr. Trump?
And there was no response. Turn your ship around. Evacuate your engine room immediately. And you see all these guys running out of there. Now, they're 5 miles away. In one shot into the engine room, blew up the engine room. The ship stopped. They used tugboats, and then we landed on top of it. On top of everything else, we then land on top of it, and we took over the ship. We took over the cargo, took over the oil. It's a very profitable business. Who would have thought we were doing that? We're like pirates. We're sort of like pirates. But we're not playing games because, for 47 years, Iran...
Enough. For 47 years, Iran played women's sports like men. Mm-hmm. So that was a big soundbite of the week, I think. Yeah, this was about a week ago exactly. We're like pirates. We're sort of like pirates. Yeah. I love how he tries to like hedge it at the end. Like we're sort of like pirates.
What he's saying. When he starts to realize what he's saying,
Yeah. The part where he realizes is my favorite.
It's always good when he you can tell. And then I like when you realize that he can tell, and he's like kind of trying to hedge, but then eventually he's just like, fuck it. That's always a good one when he's like, yeah, we're sort of like pirates kind of. Yeah, we're pirates. I love when he circles back and he's just like, fuck it. Yeah. Yeah. We're the baddies. I'm not going to heaven type beat is always good. You think we don't have killers, that kind of thing.
Just like the most incompetent pirates as well, because he's referring to the double blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, basically.
Oh, I thought he was talking about his arteries, folks, because he eats so much McDonald's. Got his ass.
And what do pirates do? They go bathing in the reflecting pool, which is another thing that Trump has been playing around with, that big pool where people go to reflect or things are reflected. He painted it blue. He's very excited about that. So he's still just puttering around with all these little hobbies or whatever, little projects. He's still talking about the ballroom, of course. That's, just did a whole false flag thing just to remind people of why that's important, only to have everyone reject it more than they reject what was it, telepathy and ghosts.
Yeah.
But what else? He's got art, the arch he wants to build still. Arc de Trump.
The floating in the reflecting pool thing.
Oh yeah, the
I like
the
the
meme
CBS
he
News
reposted.
Yeah, the AI thing that he posted. I liked the CBS News post about it, references that he's there with J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, and then there's just a lady there that they don't reference who that is.
Yeah,
and that she's clearly trying to be sitting on a chair similar to Trump because he's lounging on an inflatable chair, but she's just sitting on nothing. and putting her arm up like she's sitting on a chair, but she's not. Like, she's like, they're really treating her like she's not there. It's interesting.
I mean, I just want to know who she's supposed to be. Nancy Pelosi? Right. She got them.
She's kind of stacked. She got those things. Them things do be thangin'. That's
I call those things
prescription jugs.
That's right. That's right. Hell yes, brother.
Wait, run that back, my main man Joe. Run that back.
Prescription jugs.
He was actually spitting there. He really was. Listen, like if when I see those things come out, you can call me a hammer homie, right? The way I'm going crazy. Anyway, yeah, that's yeah, but I don't know who the fuck that is supposed to be, and they don't reference it. They're just like they're acting like she's just not there. Yeah, which is pretty good.
Yeah, some bitch, some dumb bitch is in the pool. I mean, the funniest and maybe most obvious thing to point out about why Trump reposted this. Or was it a repost, or is it just a straight up post?
Well, he just posted it. They don't reference if it's a repost.
That's so funny. Yeah. That's even funnier.
The funny thing about it is, there keeps being stuff like this where it's like there's no like chain that shows like he got it from somewhere else. Like Trump is just fucking around making AI images. Like that's kind of where we're at, you know.
He clearly likes that this one just puts his old head on like a young svelte body.
Right.
It's some sad fantasizing, I have to say. But
Definitely.
You know, who doesn't want to, wind back the clock?
That's true.
On the other side of the plate, as it were. What else? I mean, it's kind of more of the same in a way. the state of the war. I mean, I guess I would just summarize what's been going on since we last checked in as like more of the same, basically. Except, I guess mere hours ago there was some exchange of fire during the ceasefire that's still apparently happening, where Trump also very frighteningly referenced if they don't sign the deal, which is going great, by the way. He's like simultaneously saying like they trifled with us. Did you see this where he used the word trifled a bunch of times?
No.
Shit. Maybe we should just play it. I don't know. I mean, I could just remember what he said. He said Iran trifled with us. I'm not even. I like this happened so recently that I'm not even sure what the true truth is here. Didn't have time to really dig into it, but basically the U.S. was just saying like they defensively retaliated, and Iran said the same thing. Given the track record of who tells the truth in all of this mess, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the U.S. is full of shit on this one.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And that, yes, the U.S. also said none of our 3 massive destroyer ships were harmed in any way, but we totally beat the hell out of one of their ships, which is basically what Trump is saying in the middle of this haphazard press conference of some sort, where he gets very kind of pissed off about the whole thing and says like, but so then they're asking him after he's describing this, like, well, what is the state of the ceasefire? He's like, well, that's still on, even though we just exchanged missiles at each other or whatever. But then that the talks are going great, actually. But if they're not going great, so like this is all within the same breath, basically.
Right.
It's an amazing thing to watch, honestly. Just we blew them out of the water. The talks are going great. The ceasefire's still on. But they were trifling. They trifled with us, is what they say. People say trifle, and now I'm saying it.
They won't
but also, if they want things to stay going well, they better sign a deal. Or there's going to be, I believe he said the words, a great big glowing in place of Iran. So he's just again referencing nuking the entire country.
Right.
In a very unsubtle kind of way.
Yeah.
A great glowing. Sometimes Trump does accidentally have a poetic turn of phrase. It just happens to be like while making you feel like sick with dread about what could possibly happen in the near future. There will be a great beglowing, says our President Francis Dollarhide, the Red Dragon. So yes, he shared an AI image of himself wading in the newly renovated reflecting pool with 3 of his best homies and some broad that they're going to presumably run a train on. Real gross to think about, especially little Marco there. But where was I going with all of that, you might ask? Yeah, just characterizing the state of the war. Massive back and forth yo-yo effect on Trump's part every time he talks about it, including by announcing what seems, again, now like 25 years ago, Project Freedom, which also made me think, wow, they really, like, the general tone of the admin and of Trump seems to be just kind of like defeated, angry, desperate, when not completely like zooted and like manically saying everything's going great. It's how dare you kick us while we're so down here, but we're not. If we were to be down, this would be very unfair of you to be kicking us right now, but we're not. Yeah, Project Freedom was supposed to be way back in the days, like 3 days ago or something now, when Trump was saying, we're going to like guide any ship that needs guidance through the strait. And then within like a day of announcing that, I believe, maybe 2 days tops. I mean, after it was already proven to not be what was really happening and that Iran's shipments are still on time and nothing is slowed down, meaning that the U.S. blockade is just ineffective completely. Trump said, actually, Project Freedom is canceled for the moment. Just like immediately drops it. So yeah. Did you hear about the dolphins, the military dolphins? This was a fun escape from reality for a minute, even though it still was just like ridiculous propaganda turned on its head. I believe there was a report in the what does Trump call it? The Wall Street Journal, the far left, radical left Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, exactly.
They came out and said that, oh, Iran is desperate. Word on the street is they're using dolphins to try to, as suicide bombers, to attack our ships in the strait. Only for it to be revealed 5 seconds later that Iran has never had any kind of dolphin program, which is apparently a real thing because the United States has had one historically and possibly right now. Because Pete Hegseth was asked, I guess when he was caught off guard, if Iran really has these dolphins, and he was like, no. And we may or may not have them in the U.S. Ha ha ha. Thinking he's doing like a fun little like formal ambiguity about the state of the dolphin weapons, the way Israel is ambiguous on whether or not it has nukes kind of thing. Just a funny allusion to all of that ambiguity. Yes, apparently there have been programs within Russia as well as the United States that use sea mammals, intelligent sea mammals to, I don't know, find mines in the ocean or do what radar can't. Something like that. Trump also bragged about bringing YMCA back. According to TMZ here. Let's see, what would that sound like if Trump were to brag about bringing back the gay national anthem?
No, she's done a great job, but she hates it when I do the thing on weightlifting. She says it's so unpresidential. And she hates when I dance, too, at the end, too. She hates when I dance to what's sometimes referred to as the gay national anthem. You know that. She hates it. You know, that song was number 5 32 years ago, and it went to number 1 32 years later. There's never been anything like it. It never hit number 1. It was number 5 32 years ago, and it went to number 1 for months during the last months of the game. We love that song.
There's no way that's true.
It might. I mean, it could. It's probably not. There's probably a fact that's very close to what he's saying, you know? But, yeah. He's definitely probably mixing something up there.
Was YMCA a number one song? Never. So I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit. It was the number one song on the UK singles chart in 1979, but never on the US charts. But it was number one throughout the world at various other places. You know, where he said that was where he also said, what was the other thing we just played of him? Saying, that was it, that he gave some speech at the Villages, that weird place in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why he brought it up. Villages, village people. It's all coming together. Or it's just a happy coincidence. But it was, yeah, I mean, seeing the thing about the dolphins, though, to go back to that for a second, just thinking about desperation when it comes to dealing with the war. Just another headline that kind of sums it all up. U.S. asks for help with opening Strait of Hormuz while Trump attacks allies. We've got our shit all worked out over here. But yeah, that's just, again, more of the same. We're begging for help. We never begged for help. We never needed your help. But you also horribly weren't going to offer any help. NATO is a paper tiger. I've always said this, folks. It's a paper tiger. We are NATO. And it is a paper tiger. This was a fun one for you ASMR heads out there. Trump, Musk, delight in the sounds of human suffering with sick ASMR immigrant video.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The video might bring pleasure to their supporters, but for us, it is a call to shut down their fascist deportation machine.
That's right. With pen and legislation.
Yeah. The official White House X account posted a video showing men in Seattle shackled by the wrists and ankles about to be boarded onto a plane for deportation. The 40-second clip's soundtrack is sparse, with no dialogue or music, just the sounds of a plane engine and the jangle of handcuffs and chains, first laid out by an officer from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, then attached to the immigrants whose faces are not filmed. The White House gave the video a macabre caption: ASMR, illegal alien deportation flight. The article goes on to define what ASMR is: autonomous sensory meridian response. I do always forget what that stands for. The pleasurable tingling some people experience in response to certain stimuli, often sound. There are millions of social media videos dedicated to the genre. I mean, that's it. It's just, it's very gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting. It's, just when you thought, like, these, like, what are the videos they were doing before? Just, like, yeah, just showing things blowing up with, like, new metal music playing over them. Like, they found a new way to make those more fucked up or something. Relax to the sounds of warrantless deportations, the ruining of lives, get them tingles going, and so on. Yeah. New White House drug abuse strategy floats wastewater testing, AI, more treatment, and faith-based options. So the Trump admin is proposing the idea of testing wastewater of like entire communities. And I just imagine how they can break it down by demographics, very specific demographics you might see being tested, I might imagine, which is just funny. Given all of the continued revelations, we'll say, we keep having about the Trump administration being coked to the gills and whatnot these days.
Right.
I wouldn't mind seeing a wastewater testing of the fucking White House, if you ask me.
Right. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about wastewater, more like wasted water, right? Because they're all drunk.
Indeed.
That's right.
And then there's a bunch of stuff about climate collapse being real, but we'll have to just sort of gloss over that. Mexico City is sinking so quickly that its sinkedness can be seen from space. I don't know if that even has anything to do with climate change necessarily, but it felt of a piece, so I kind of lumped them all together. But the stats on that were kind of shocking. It's saying that Mexico City is sinking nearly 10 inches or 25 centimeters annually, which seems like a lot.
Yeah, that adds up, a couple of years of 25 inches, eventually I can't walk right.
But yeah, there's this one that sounded dire to me, maybe because scientists are urging nations to prepare in the headline. Scientists urge nations to prepare. The Atlantic's core current is dangerously close to collapse. More dangerously so than we thought. But that's probably just sensationalism trying to get me to click on dailygalaxy.com. Which is where that article's from. Yeah, apparently if this particular current collapses, this current of cold water in the Atlantic Ocean, it will unleash a chain reaction that will be quite bad. But much like the hantavirus, just have to wait and see on that one, I suppose.
Yeah, see. Yeah. What's next?
There's this thing I put in there that I realized quickly after actually looking into it for more than just passing the headline along. It was kind of bullshit. It was people making a lot out of nothing. As weather influencers become more mainstream, growing concerns about misinformation. And I was just curious what the fuck a weather influencer is, because I hadn't heard about this, but apparently there are these influencers who, and one of the big ones turned out to have a degree in the weather, meteorology. Apparently it was just kind of a local news segment based on next to nothing. Apparently these influencers actually give decent information that's meant to be supplementary to the real weather forecasts. Anyway, you can either be a weather influencer or a Nazi. This is what one Itamar Ben-Gvir knew when he decided early on to go the Nazi route. We talked about this guy before. This guy and his golden nooses, his golden noose lapel pins. Well, a golden noose lapel pin wasn't enough for Ben-Gvir. On his 50th birthday, he decided to celebrate his birthday with a cake with a golden cake noose on it. So that's your weekly update on Israel.
Yeah. Ooh.
Palantir put out that manifesto, which people read about, I'm sure, already. We don't have time to go through all 22 of its points, but somebody did. Who was that?
Oh.
If you check the show notes, you too can see how TheVerge.com, I assume, translated the Palantir manifesto for actual human beings. Okay. It's very snarky and unnecessary for us to you could pretty much, it's pretty clear what they're saying in these points in their manifesto, but suffice to say, it's a lot of technology brothers fascism on display. A lot of stuff about how some cultures are actually better than others. We're not going to say which ones, but we'll let you figure it out, what we really mean by that. The kind of cultures that know the 14 words by heart, we'll say.
Right.
But to end on an upbeat note, sort of. Definitely not this one. Not how Americans in transit deserts get groceries without cards. Cars, even. Or cards. World first study reveals human heart can regenerate after a heart attack. Now, whether that's true or not, I like it as an idea,
Right.
as a symbol of human resilience in the face of all this bullshit. And one way to be resilient is to take a good nap.
That's true.
Which they've done. Oh, I fucking hate how Reuters also is like on this bullshit, and I forget to archive it until it's too late. Right, fuck you, Reuters. I won't read your shit.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, the story is that the 2026 Hangang Nap competition took place. When was this? 2 Saturdays ago in Yeouido Park in Seoul, South Korea, a place that I usually come to you from, but not this week. It's a cute thing that touches upon a real, I guess, sociocultural problem here. I was going to say here, but I'm not there. I'm here in America. In Korea, where, people are sleep deprived and overworked, maybe to a degree even worse so than the Japanese, if you can believe it or not. And so some people showed up to show that they really could nap with the best of them because they're so fucking tired of it all. But they also tried to like turn it into like a cutesy thing where people were being interrupted and judges were judging how well they could not be fazed by, say, being tickled with a feather or someone playing mosquito sounds over a speaker, I assume. And the judges used actual sleep data from your smartwatch to decide the winner. But they also people were supposed to show up in real pajamas, sleepwear. So there was also a best dressed award. That's cute. That's cute. That's nice. We got some people with like some anime waifu pillows in the pictures here. Got somebody inside of what looks like a giant koala. Got people.
People ask people to watch their scotch. People send people up to the moon.
Sleeping on the grass in competition. Much like the presidential fitness tests will be back to their competitive glory, much like this power nap contest in Seoul. All right. Speaking of napping, I was going to say you got to go to bed, but I guess I should probably go to bed too.
We both got to take your ass to bed, man.
It's quite late, so let's recommend some shit and call it a day. I got something in mind. Should I go, or do you got something?
Go.
Okay, I'm going to recommend this thing that I've been watching the last few days on HBO Max, something I normally don't see. So when I was flipping around there, scrolling, as they say, trifling, as the kids say, as the president says, I found this series of documentary series that I still don't even really know the name of. I didn't look it up, but it was put out by CNN and it's played on HBO Max, and they just basically go through an entire decade. So they'll go through what was music like in the 80s for the first episode. And then anyway, it's about everything that went on in that decade.
I think I watched some of these.
It's possible.
70s,
I think
80s, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 60s until the 2010s. It goes all the way up to the 2010s, which I haven't quite finished the 2010s yet. But
yeah, I'll give it a couple of years before I'm doing 2010s nostalgia. Unfortunately,
I mean that's part of the reason I even watched it. I was curious, what the fuck they're gonna go over again. But I recommend them as a way to kind of sort of eavesdrop on a certain kind of perfected, like, normie, for lack of a better word, politics and
Sure.
worldview, a kind of moving images Newsweek and Time magazine.
Right.
This very, like, down the middle. I don't know. A lot of it is like a very reactionary. Like, I like to, but I mean, so is a lot of liberalism. So I was going to say, like, it's not even really liberal. But on top of all of that, sure, you can get a good heavy dose of nostalgia too, like I did through the 80s and 90s ones, which I think I watched the entirety of the 90s one. But as I was watching the 90s one, I was seeing this, the 80s one. I was remembering how, or I was being forced to remember how Ronald Reagan was nearly killed in the 80s by a bullet. And just comparing that to like how failed Trump's third assassination attempt was at like garnering him any like sympathy or like a bump in the polls or anything that he wanted. Like if anything, it was like the reverse. Like people were less likely to support the ballroom afterwards. But with Reagan, he got everything he wanted at the time, which made me consider for a second something I'd never thought of, which is that shit was also fake or like, controlled or whatever. Because like as soon as he came back, he like made this big Reagan, that is, came back from the dead. He made this big dramatic like appearance in Congress, and like what was happening right before that was that he was trying to get some kind of like controversial tax and spending type bill passed, which like the nation did really kind of unite in the way that they did, I'm told, after 9/11 when Reagan got sort of. But yeah, in stark contrast to the nation forgetting that an armed assailant came after the top people in our government like 13 days ago. But anyway, it was a fun walk down memory lane. Fun, I guess. Interesting. It kind of pisses you off to relive history. And it also will just kind of make you realize that like things were never really good. even when they seemed like they were better in some ways. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. Check out any of them, though. Pick a decade and go with it. You can watch them in any order, backwards, forwards.
Right.
You got anything out there for the General Rex?
Yeah, I'll generally rec a TV series called Bait. It's on Prime. It's a Prime original style joint. But if you don't have Prime and if you want to watch it, check it out. Hit me up because it's on my Plex. I'll add you to my Plex server. You can whatever.
Hey, hang on, man. This is a double recommend, so you know.
I've recommended this before?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That can't be possible. Hey.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well then, let's recommend the new season of Euphoria.
Yeah.
The new season has started. There are about 3, maybe 4 episodes in, and they've turned it insane. It's turned into like a Cronenberg / oh god, I can't think of the guy. Mulholland Drive. What's his name?
David Lynch.
Yeah, it's like Lynch. It's like Cronenberg, Lynchian, like it's body horror mixed with like fucking just like trippy. Who can even say what's real and what's fake? What's going on? Type shit. Like throughout it, it's like it's absolutely just off the rails. And I've seen people who have liked the rest of the series like turning on it, and it makes sense because it's like the same. It's similar to like what's happened with like Severance, where like the later seasons of Severance, people are like, I was into it, but now it's just getting weird. And it's like, no, man, this is like where it's getting fun. They like set you up. They've given you all of these like concepts, and then now they're just like, fucking, who cares? We can do whatever the fuck we want. And yeah, so I would recommend checking out the new season of Euphoria, because it's fucking insane. It's just absolutely gone off the rails with violence and gore and brutality, and then, yeah, again, like ethereal, who can even, like, what's real, what's a dream, what's like an acid trip. Like, it's definitely a lot of fun. Just like strap in and like enjoy the ride and not try to like figure everything out. That's the problem with a lot of fandom now, is that everyone wants to like understand everything deeper, man. It's like, sometimes you're just watching a show. Like, why can't I just watch a show, you know?
Yeah, that's like that's like a trend I was noticing just on like in YouTube videos. It was like taking like any, basically it was like any A24 movie, but it was also just like any movie that was like kind of weird at all, like even slightly so. And I would just see like blah, 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 ending explained, like
Right.
definitive explanation of the ending of, you know, and then it would always be like some movie that I'm like, well, that's not even a hard one to figure out. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
It's like Wizard of Oz. Ending explained.
Yeah.
I mean, that one even would make more sense than some of the ones I feel like I've seen. You know, was
There's
it all a
some-
dream?
Well, and there's also like the deeper stuff with the Wizard of Oz and the gold standard and all that like is like underneath.
True, you could get into some like alternate readings of it, but yeah, like some of the movies were like, I don't know. I wish I had an example. but
Howard Stern's Private Parts, the movie explained.
Well, the thing I noticed was always it was always the ending explained too, especially.
Right.
But maybe sometimes it would be a whole film. But yeah, it's a whole cottage industry out there, as they say. But enough about me and my podcast.
Look at my.
That's right. Look at my me, the thing that we always are saying on this show.
Indeed. So look at my me, which is in the show description, the episode description. You can find our Discord server linked. You want to join that? You want to join up? You want to come say hi? Other things in the show description, a link to the show notes, which have actually a lot of links this week. If you're curious, some stuff we missed maybe in there too.
Link at my penis. Please. Yeah.
And Tim has another podcast, which is
It's again does not exist, but you can find podcasts related to me on violentpeople.co. The GWE, the Greatest Wrestler Ever info stuff is coming out on PWO, the original home of like the early podcasts that I did that people paid attention to. We're over there on PWO, so I have like a bit of a affinity for that website / podcast / message board, whatever. So yeah, that's it. Check out violentpeople.co. Check out GWE. That's the thing that matters right now.
Yes, do that. Go forth, run, don't walk, and thrash. And as we always say here, at the heat death of the universe, soy and cattle concern, don't kill yourself, join a labor union. Sprinting through metal detectors is the highest form of praxis, and
I got news that just keeps, pouring out of my anus for you guys.
Good night, good luck, good morning, et nam.
All in all is true. If all pilgrim, you know he loves you. Levitate me higher, babe. Hey, kick up, baby. Elevator lady, elevator lady, elevator lady, elevator lady, elevator lady, levitate me. If all in all is true, if all in all is true, if all in all is true, if all is true, won't you please roll over me? Won't you please roll over me? Won't you please roll over me? Won't you please roll over me?
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?